All right, let's take a quick look at what you'll find in this section. This section goes over the basics of the English language. Okay, what is English? And this is optional. You can skip this if you want, but I do recommend you watch through it. It's not long, maybe it'll take you about an hour or so. It's going to really set the foundation for how you think about English. Al rituel. Welcome to this lesson, and in this lesson, we're going to just do an overview of the parts of the sentence. So, this will give you an understanding of a sentence in general, in the English language. Now, the first thing you should know about is that in English, a sentence is considered a complete thought, and a full sentence will always have a subject and something we call the predicate. Okay, so in English every sentence needs these two parts, the subject and the predicate. Let's look at these examples. The dog runs down the street. Okay, here the subject of our sentence, or who or what the sentence is about, is the dog, and the predicate will be the rest of the sentence here. So we have the subject and then the predicate. The predicate tells us what the subject is doing, without these two parts. Okay, the sentence is not a complete thought. We won't consider it a full sentence. And again, these must be in order right. You can't say, runs down the street the dog. In English, that is incorrect. In other languages that may be the structure. But in English, the structure goes subject first followed by the predicate. Now, let's go into detail about these parts. First, the subject. Okay, the subject is the naming part. Oui, qu'en cas lit. The subject of the sentence is who or what the sentence is about. And the subject is going to be something called a noun. In English, a noun is any person or place or thing. So again, our example sentence, the dog runs down the street. This is our subject. The dog is a thing, right? Es-tu son animal? This is who or what the sentence is about. The dog is the subject. Then we have the second part, which we call the predicate, okay? The predicate is the telling part. So the predicate of the sentence tells what the subject is doing. And it will normally start with a verb and contain the object, which is also a noun. So now, if we look at our example sentence, we have the predicate colored here, and you can see that the predicate is broken down into a verb, and an object, the verb being runs. Okay, and the object being street or the street. So again, runs down the street is the predicate of our sentence. This is telling us what the dog is doing. So now you know how to make the basic sentence structure in English. It is just subject the verb plus the object in this order. Other languages will move this order around. But in English, this is the order you should follow. Subject, verb, object. And where verb and object, we call the predicate. So now we can build English sentences, just knowing about where the subject is and where the predicate is. Right, so we follow this formula. Subject plus predicate, okay. Just remember that, and predicate verb plus object. The dog runs down the street. Subject, verbe object. So here's some examples. Let's see if we can look at these and just kind of identify the different parts. So the cat jumps on the bed. 10 sentences. The cat is the subject because that is who or what it is about, where jumps on the bed is our predicate, with jumps being the verb and the bed being the object. The mouse eats cheese. Here the mouse is the subject. Write it's who or what the sentence is about with cheese. Or eats cheese, I'm sorry, being the predicate where eats is the verb and cheese is the object. Then we have the bird is in the sky. Here the bird is the subject. Is in the sky is our predicate, with his being the verb and the sky the object. So one more time just to look at this. We have subject predicate, predicat, subject predicate, okay? Don't forget these words, so now we have an exercise. This is for you to try first by yourself. So I want you to maybe pause the video. Take some time, look at these sentences, and figure out what is the subject and what is the predicate, okay? So go ahead and pause the video, and then when you unpause, I'll continue by giving the answers. Okay, so hopefully you paused and figured this out on your own. Let's go through this. So the first sentence is the man ate pizza, okay? So we have the man. The man is our subject. This is who or what the sentence is about. Then we have ate pizza. Ate pizza is the predicate. This is what the subject did. The next sentence, Adam went to school. Adam is our subject. Went to school is our predicate. And last we have the bear slept in the cave, with the bear being the subject and slept in the cave being the predicate. Where slept is the verb, the cave is the object. So here we have another exercise for you to try. Go ahead and correct the sentence so that it's in the correct structure, the correct order. Okay, so you'll see that we have these words, but they're not in the correct order. So I want you to rearrange these words so that we have subject, predicate, correct order. So again, go ahead and pause the video and figure these out on your own. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too hard. Let's see what we have. The first one we have here. Sinking the boat is okay. So in English, we don't put the information in this order. So hopefully you've started with the boat, which is our subject. And then is sinking the boat is sinking. This is the correct order. Subject, predicate. Next we have a snake. On dit mice. A snake is our subject, eats mice is the predicate. And the last one is hot the sun. We have the sun. Yot okay. So the sun is hot, with the sun being the subject is hot in the predicate. So now you can see right. You have learned just in this little lesson about the basic structure of the English sentence. But this is the most important part, because once you know the basic structure, now all you have to do is add to this basic structure, okay. You'll add new types of words. You can see here, and your sentences will get bigger and more complex. But the problem is most learners try to start down here. They try to start learning very complex sentences. And then, so when they have to make them on their own, They don't understand or they get confused. But if you start from here, the most basic structure, and you work your way to the most complex structure, you will have no problem ordering your English sentences, making your English sentences. And this will help you speak better, listen better, write better, just overall use English better. So you can see here, right? The dog eats food just by adding a few words. The big dog eats food quickly. Okay, we're adding more complexity. The big dog eats food quickly under the bed. Okay, we're continuing to add. This big dog eats food quickly under that bed. We're adding more information. We're getting more specific. We're speaking better English. This big dog eats food and drinks water quickly under that bed. But we're becoming a better English speaker. So now we're very specific. We're adding multiple sentences together. This is what we'll learn in the remainder of this course. En de todotis, okay? We're gonna learn and understand something called the parts of speech. The parts of speech are the parts that you use to make up English sentences, okay? So, if you learn these things, you'll easily master the English language. And like I said, many students don't learn this. They just skip this part. They just try to start learning the big, complicated sentences. And they struggle. Okay, so the rest of this course, we will go over each part of this parts of speech in English nouns. Verbs, adjective, adverbs, and what I call the other words. Prepositions, and finally conjunctions. I promise if you understand all of these, then you'll have no problem learning English.